As Elder Xie's voice faded, the crowd followed him inside. Upon entering, Lin Jing looked around. This was a circular stone chamber, which, apart from a teleportation array in the center, contained nothing else. Perhaps because it was protected by a formation, the stone chamber was intact with no cracks whatsoever. Naturally, no devouring spirit ants had made their way in either. As everyone had entered, Elder Xie spoke up. This formation was built for special circumstances. It's a random teleportation array, a bit special. In a moment, when you step onto this teleportation array, the place where you come out will be random. Exactly where you'll be teleported, we're not sure. But it will definitely be within the demon race secret realm. I'm sure you're aware that the demon race secret realm is not safe. Therefore, this teleportation also carries certain risks. I wanted to inform you beforehand, so you can brace yourselves mentally. Of course, if you are afraid, you may also stay here, and we will not stop you. Although Elder Xie said this, no one was willing to stay behind. After all, this place was the most dangerous right now. It likely wouldn't be long before those red flame devouring spirit ants overran the entire spirit cleansing grounds. By then, it would be impossible to flee. Following this, Elder Xie scanned the group and then exchanged glances with Elder Qin. Afterward, the two of them took out some spirit stones from their storage bags. The spirit stones they produced were even larger than the typical medium-grade spirit stones, and they looked much purer, it seemed. These must be superior-grade spirit stones. The two of them directly placed the spirit stones into the slots around the formation. There were 6 slots in total, and each took out 3 superior-grade spirit stones. Once all the spirit stones were embedded, the formation patterns on the array began to slowly light up. From the outside in, it didn't take long before all the formation patterns of the array were activated. After the formation patterns were activated, Elder Xie spoke again. The teleportation array is now activated. Only one person can be teleported at a time. Who will go first? As Elder Xie's words trailed off, everyone just looked at the teleportation array, but no one stepped forward voluntarily. Seeing this, Elder Xie frowned and was about to say something. Just then, one of the Nanming immortal sect disciples directly stepped forward and said, "Elder Xie, I'll go first." Elder Xie nodded, then responded directly, "All right, you then. Just stand on the teleportation array." Upon hearing this, the Nanming immortal sect disciple nodded. He walked straight onto the teleportation array. Remember to be prepared and be careful not to be ambushed by demonic beasts. Elder Xie cautioned him once again. This type of random teleportation array had this particular downside, especially as it was within a secret realm. It was possible that immediately upon arriving, before even realizing it, one might be ambushed by demonic beasts. And for the particularly unlucky, it was even possible to be teleported directly into the lair of a demonic beast. Therefore, it was necessary to prepare in advance. Thank you for the reminder, Elder Xie. The disciple bowed his hands in gratitude to Elder Xie. Elder Xie gave a slight nod of his head. After this, Elder Xie once again took out the token, pressing it against the stone platform next to the teleportation array. The formation suddenly blazed with white light, growing more and more intense. It was so bright that it forced everyone to squint. After 2 breaths, the white light eventually vanished, and along with it, the Nanming immortal sect disciple who had stood on the array. Seeing someone depart, the others became eager as well. Next one, Elder Xie spoke once more. This time, several people spoke up at once. "Me, I'll go." Seeing so many people, Elder Xie then pointed to one of them and said, "You come." "Yes." Upon hearing this, the person was immediately overjoyed and then walked straight into the center of the teleportation array. Just like before, he used a token, and with a flash of white light, another person was teleported away. Then the second one, the third one. One by one, the people were teleported out. It was at this moment that Senior Han came up to Lin Jing's side and whispered, "Be careful when you're teleported out. You'd better prepare a 5 Thunder Talisman in hand, just in case of emergencies." Clearly, Senior Han was somewhat worried about Lin Jing. After all, most of the demonic beasts in the secret realm were very powerful, equivalent to cultivators at the Foundation establishment stage. And Lin Jing, with only the Qi refinement 8th level cultivation, would naturally be in more danger compared to others. Lin Jing nodded and said, "I understand, Senior Han." After speaking, Lin Jing took out the token for entering the core region from his storage bag and returned it to Senior Han. This token was given to him by Senior Han for temporary use, and now that he was leaving the spirit cleansing site, he naturally had to return it to him. Senior Han received the token, nodded, and then put it away. Before long, Senior Han stepped onto the teleportation array and left this place. Next, it was Liu Yiyuan's turn. Before leaving, Liu Yiyuan even turned his head to give Lin Jing a look of contempt. Then, he too stepped onto the teleportation array and left. When it was Lin Jing's turn, there were only 3 people left behind him. As Lin Jing walked onto the teleportation array, Elder Qin glanced at Lin Jing, frowning. "Qi refinement 8th level. Which true immortal did you follow to this secret realm?" Lin Jing clasped his hands and replied to Elder Qin. "Elder Qin, I came with Li True Immortal from the Li family of Nanshan Immortal City." Li family. Elder Qin then nodded. After that, he said to Lin Jing, "Be careful when you go out. If you encounter danger, you can hide first. Protecting yourself is the most important. After we return, we will notify Li True Immortal to come and find you to bring you back." Lin Jing clasped his hands again and said to Elder Qin, "Thank you, Elder Qin." Elder Qin nodded his head, but said nothing more. Afterward, Elder Xia once again used the token to activate the formation. Lin Jing only felt himself enveloped by a mysterious force, and then the formation's white light brightened, becoming more and more blinding, until at last, a tearing force arrived, and Lin Jing felt an emptiness in his body. Afterward, his entire person disappeared from spot. When Lin Jing opened his eyes again, he had already arrived outside. What he saw was a desolate landscape. At this moment, Lin Jing was in midair and still falling. Realizing his current situation, Lin Jing quickly stabilized himself and summoned his flawless sword. This teleportation array was indeed somewhat tricky. It could even teleport someone into midair. Fortunately, his reaction was quick, or he really would have fallen. At this time, Lin Jing rode the sword, looking around. He saw that the vegetation was withered, not a trace of green to be seen, which made the place even more desolate. Ahead lay a stone forest with strange and jagged formations of rock. It seemed even more desolate. Had it not been for the familiar aura, Lin Jing might even have thought he had left the demon race secret realm. Afterward, Lin Jing descended from the sky. He first checked around and found the place eerily quiet, let alone demonic beasts. He didn't even hear the chirping of insects. And this place even suppressed his divine sense. Here, the range he could sense with his divine sense wasn't even half of its usual extent. Seeing no danger in this place, Lin Jing then relaxed a bit, got on his sword, and intended to leave. However, just as he flew up on his sword and hadn't yet passed through the stone forest in front of him, a cold gleam shot out from the strange and rugged stone forest, aiming directly at Lin Jing. It was at this moment, Lin Jing's heart suddenly pounded furiously, his back chilled, sensing something was amiss. He immediately realized what was happening. Hurriedly gathering his spiritual power, he formed a spiritual shield around his body, while turning around to control his flawless sword, attacking the cold gleam. It was also at this moment that Lin Jing realized that the cold gleam attacking him was actually a flying sword. Clang! With the sound of metal clashing, both flying swords were sent flying back. Lin Jing reached out and caught the flawless sword in his hand. However, a tremendous force of energy backlash traveled up the blade. Lin Jing was in midair, with no leverage to steady himself. He was forced backward by the force of the backlash. The other flying sword was also repelled by Lin Jing, since Lin Jing had only reacted in haste and didn't use his full strength. Therefore, he was at a slight disadvantage in the clash. At the same time, A voice sounded from within the stone forest. "That's strange. I didn't expect you to actually block it." Hearing the voice, Lin Jing's brows instantly furrowed, and he thought to himself, how could it be such a coincidence to encounter him just after coming out? This voice was all too familiar. Lin Jing could never forget it no matter what. At this time, Lin Jing had already landed from the sky, staring intently in the direction of the stone forest. There a person was slowly walking out. This person was none other than Liu Yiyuan, who had just been teleported not long ago. Unexpectedly, the random teleportation of the formation had brought the two of them together. Liu Yiyuan walked out of the stone forest, the corner of his mouth curling up, wearing an unrestrained smile. "I never imagined I would encounter you here. How could it be so coincidental? I've imagined many times before, encountering you in various scenarios, then using all sorts of cruel methods to torture you to death slowly." At this point, Liu Yiyuan turned his head to look around, and after a moment, turned his gaze back to Lin Jing, saying, "But I never expected it to be here." After speaking, Liu Yiyuan also took the time to explain to Lin Jing, "You must know, I've wanted to kill you for a very, very long time." Lin Jing's gaze was icy as he looked at Liu Yiyuan. His face showed no sign of anger or panic. How could he not know that Liu Yiyuan wanted to kill him? The feeling of being constantly on someone's mind was indeed not pleasant. And how could he not want to eliminate this nuisance that was always after him? Liu Yiyuan, seeing Lin Jing not speaking and not bothering to respond, thought that in this place, with no one else around and with Lin Jing's cultivation, Lin Jing wouldn't be able to escape no matter what. Then he went on to say to himself, "This place, no one. I had already scouted it out before you arrived. Dying here, no one will know. You can rest in peace." Having said this, Liu Yiyuan looked at Lin Jing with an assured posture of triumph, as if looking at prey, with a trace of cruelty at the corner of his mouth. Facing Liu Yiyuan, Lin Jing needed no further words. In this place, with no outsiders present, he definitely wouldn't miss the opportunity to kill his would-be murderer. However, Liu Yiyuan seemed to be overly confident. In that last strike, Liu Yiyuan had revealed at least 60 to 70% of his cultivation. In theory, even if he had used only half his cultivation, it wouldn't be something that an 8th level chi refinement like Lin Jing could withstand. Just that he didn't know why. Liu Yiyuan didn't delve deeper into the matter. At that moment, Liu Yiyuan looked down at the flawless sword in Lin Jing's hand, then spoke. "That last strike, although intended to stop you, I still used 60% of my cultivation. But unexpectedly, you blocked it. It seems the sword in your hand, invisible and traceless as it is, must be significant. Even if it's not a magical treasure, it's probably not far off." After speaking, Liu Yiyuan, full of confidence, professed, "However, that flying sword will soon be mine." Upon hearing this, Lin Jing's mouth twitched. With a hint of mockery, he said to Liu Yiyuan, "If you want it, then come and take it." At this point, Lin Jing no longer bothered to disguise himself. Seeing Lin Jing's arrogance, Liu Yiyuan snorted coldly and said, "Umph, ignorant of both heaven and earth, seeking death." After speaking, he directly controlled his flying sword, stabbing towards Lin Jing. Seeing Liu Yiyuan's flying sword coming at him, Lin Jing's intention stirred, and the flawless sword flew up, piercing towards Liu Yiyuan. This time, he didn't hold back. His foundation establishment, 5th level cultivation, burst forth fully. The speed of the flawless sword was swift, and in an instant, Liu Yiyuan was startled by its speed. However, just as he started to react, the flawless sword had already charged to his face. It was then, a white light suddenly shone from Liu Yiyuan's body. The flawless sword, initially stabbing towards him, was diverted off course by this white light before even touching him. The source of the white light was indeed the same magical treasure that had appeared on Liu Yiyuan's body when facing the red flame devouring spirit ants. Once Liu Yiyuan recovered from shock, he no longer cared about attacking Lin Jing. He quickly retracted his flying sword and retreated a distance. Lin Jing looked at the white light shield emitting from Liu Yiyuan, his brow furrowing aware that if he didn't break through this white light shield, he probably wouldn't be able to kill him. Now that his strength was exposed, Liu Yiyuan must be killed. He absolutely couldn't let him escape. On the other hand, Liu Yiyuan, at this moment, wore an expression of shock. No, that's not right. What cultivation level are you? You're definitely more than just Qi refinement level 8. After the shock subsided, disbelief was written all over Liu Yiyuan's face. He could never have imagined that the ant he had thought he could easily crush had a higher cultivation than his own. Lin Jing didn't waste words with him and directly controlled the flawless sword to continue his assault. The previous strike had already disoriented Liu Yiyuan, who, in his panic, quickly retreated backward. At the same time, he continuously commanded his flying sword to defend against the attack of the flawless sword. However, under Lin Jing's full-force offensive, Liu Yiyuan's flying sword couldn't withstand the attack at all. It was directly sent flying. After that, the flawless sword once again lunged towards Liu Yiyuan. But that white light suddenly intensified, burst forth again, and directly repelled the flawless sword. Seeing his flawless sword sent flying, Lin Jing's brow furrowed slightly. Then he continued to control the flawless sword, launching an attack toward Liu Yiyuan. On Liu Yiyuan's body, the white light shield shone even brighter. Lin Jing's successive attacks failed to make an impact. Witnessing so many futile attacks from Lin Jing, Liu Yiyuan gradually grew less panicked. He once again showed a smug expression and laughed loudly, saying, "Haha, so what if your cultivation is higher than mine? I am protected by a magical treasure. You will exhaust yourself to death trying to break through. Now it's my turn." Having said that, Liu Yiyuan took out several talismans from his storage bag. Then, holding a 5 thunder talisman in one hand, he said to Lin Jing, "Now, let you taste the power of the 5 thunder talisman." As soon as the words fell, Liu Yiyuan hurled the 5 thunder talisman in his hand. As soon as Liu Yiyuan reached into the storage bag, Lin Jing was already on guard, because he was all too familiar with that gesture. Every time he wanted to take out a talisman from the storage bag, he did the same thing. And with Liu Yiyuan's status, how could he not have high-level talismans on him? Therefore, Lin Jing was always prepared for this. As Liu Yiyuan hurled the talisman at Lin Jing, he had already retreated a distance, narrowly avoiding the explosion range of the 5 thunder talisman. After dodging the 5 thunder talisman, Lin Jing continued to control the flawless sword, initiating another attack on Liu Yiyuan. However, this attack was still as ineffective as before. It could not breach the white light shield by any means. Seeing this, Liu Yiyuan became even more triumphant and laughed heartily. "Haha, you are indeed quite formidable, and you can withstand much. But so what? You are powerful, but still just a loose cultivator without a golden core magic treasure, without sufficient foundation. What do you have to fight me with? Once your spiritual power is exhausted, your death will come." The overconfident Liu Yiyuan, now extremely arrogant, kept taunting Lin Jing. Lin Jing ignored Liu Yiyuan's taunts and instead furrowed his brows in thought. He was not without resources as Liu Yiyuan had suggested. On him, there was a rank 3 talisman, the extinguishing True Heaven Thunder Talisman. Besides that, there was also a forbidden artifact, the Illusion Sword. Lin Jing believed either of these 2 cards could break through Liu Yiyuan's white light shield. But both were consumables, each with only one chance to be used. Now, it wasn't yet that most critical moment. Moreover, his cultivation was still slightly higher than Liu Yiyuan's. If he had to use these items just to deal with Liu Yiyuan, it would seem rather wasteful. After pondering for a moment, Lin Jing made a decision. Then he silently invoked the system in his mind. System, activate power enhancement possession. This place was too strange, suppressing divine sense, and greatly reducing the power of his attacks. To quickly deal with Liu Yiyuan, Lin Jing directly activated the power enhancement possession feature. Afterward, the system's voice echoed in his mind. Power enhancement possession activated successfully, deducting 5 harvest points. After 5 minutes, 1 harvest point will be deducted per minute. Note, during the activation of Power Enhancement Possession, it will not automatically shut down. It requires the host to end it manually or until harvest points are depleted. The moment Power Enhancement Possession activated, Lin Jing immediately felt clarity in his mind, and the surroundings became much clearer. His divine sense suddenly became incredibly powerful. He felt even the flawless sword was much easier to control. With that 40% increase in divine sense strength from the Power Enhancement Possession, Lin Jing's following attacks would be even more ferocious. Afterward, Lin Jing controlled the flawless sword, bringing it back to his side. This time, Lin Jing prepared to use the Lin Yiyuan. Lin Yiyuan could not only conceal the flying sword but also increase its power. When he deployed the flawless sword again, it was stealthy and blended into the surrounding environment. It then vanished without a trace. Aside from Lin Jing, nobody knew where it was. And Liu Yiyuan, who was opposite him, felt the same way. After Lin Jing had dodged his 5 Thunder Talisman, he unexpectedly withdrew his flying sword as well. This left Liu Yiyuan extremely puzzled. He didn't launch an attack right away, but instead stayed on guard, planning to see what Lin Jing would do next. After that, Lin Jing didn't rush to attack Liu Yiyuan. Instead, he reached out and took out a talisman, 5 Thunder Talisman. Then, Lin Jing recited the incantation directly, activated the 5 Thunder Talisman, and slapped it towards Liu Yiyuan. Seeing this, Liu Yiyuan quickly retreated, planning to dodge the attack of the 5 Thunder Talisman just like Lin Jing had done before. However, he miscalculated. With the enhancement of his divine sense strength, Lin Jing's 5 Thunder Talisman was both urgent and fast. Liu Yiyuan couldn't even react in time before he was enveloped by the lightning. The lightning crackled, striking the white light shield. However, this white light only showed a slight reaction at the beginning. Then it remained normal as before. It was at this moment Liu Yiyuan saw that the 5 Thunder Talisman could not break his white light shield. So, he relaxed a bit. He charged towards Lin Jing while withstanding the bombardment of the 5 Thunder Talisman. However, just as he was about to rush out of the range of the 5 Thunder Talisman, suddenly, bang, a loud noise, and Liu Yiyuan was struck. An unidentified object had knocked him back into the lightning. It was this attack that shook Liu Yiyuan, who was protected by the white light shield, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. Liu Yiyuan, from beginning to end, hadn't even seen clearly what it was that had attacked him, and the white light on his body had dimmed suddenly during that attack. At this moment, Liu Yiyuan was frightened not lightly, quickly looking around vigilantly. He could understand why Lin Jing was so formidable. Even though he had magical treasures to protect him, Lin Jing could still cause him injuries. The one that had attacked Liu Yiyuan just now was the flawless sword, and he had even used Lin Yiyuan along with an enhancement possession. It was the strongest move he could execute at the moment. But even so, it had only made the white light dim for a brief moment. This showed just how powerful the magical treasure on Liu Yiyuan was. Afterwards, while Liu Yiyuan was staring at Lin Jing on his guard, another attack came, following closely behind. It was just before him. It was at this moment that Liu Yiyuan vaguely saw that the object attacking him was that transparent flying sword from before. When Liu Yiyuan saw the flawless sword, a certain cultivation technique suddenly flashed through his mind, causing him to space out for a moment. Right after that, the flawless sword had already struck at him. Boom! A second loud noise came, and Liu Yiyuan was again thrown to the ground by the attack. Also at this time, the lightning generated by the 5 Thunder Talisman exhausted its spiritual power and dissipated into nothing. Liu Yiyuan got up and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Then, pointing at Lin Jing in disbelief, he said, "It's actually you, Lin Yiyuan. It's definitely Lin Yiyuan. I didn't expect this cultivation technique to be in your hands." However, just then, Liu Yiyuan suddenly realized that the white light shield around him had significantly thinned. Seeing this, Liu Yiyuan also started to panic. And when Lin Jing looked at Liu Yiyuan, his eyes brightened as he noticed this fact as well. This proved his attacks were not futile, they were effective. Afterward, Lin Jing was about to launch another attack, aiming to break Liu Yiyuan's white light shield in one go. However, before Lin Jing could initiate another attack, Liu Yiyuan had already begun to retreat first. After pulling back, Liu Yiyuan, with a fierce expression, glared intently at Lin Jing and said fiercely, "I didn't want to use that thing originally. This is you forcing my hand." Having said that, he directly reached out and took a gourd out of his storage bag. This gourd was neither gold nor jade, its material indeterminate. It was entwined with black patterns, and upon these patterns rose wisps of black vapor, giving off an exceptionally eerie feeling. And the moment this gourd was taken out, Lin Jing felt an ominously strange aura spreading from it. Seeing this, Lin Jing quickly retreated a distance, remaining on guard with caution. Subsequently, Liu Yiyuan fixed his gaze on the gourd, frowning heavily. Then his eyes turned fierce, and he struck his chest directly with a punch. Pooh! Liu Yiyuan sprayed a large mouthful of fresh blood onto the gourd. The gourd was instantly stained red with Liu Yiyuan's blood. After expelling this mouthful of blood, Liu Yiyuan's breathing became erratic, and his face turned significantly paler. Liu Yiyuan's actions puzzled Lin Jing greatly. Despite his puzzlement, Lin Jing dared not relax in the slightest, keeping his eyes firmly fixed on the gourd. It was at this moment he noticed the fresh blood sprayed onto the gourd was slowly being absorbed by it, seeping inside. After the blood was absorbed, the black patterns on the gourd slowly transformed, and its sinister and terrifying presence grew increasingly powerful. At this time, Liu Yiyuan's face held a resentful expression, and with a cold smile at the corner of his mouth, he stared straight at Lin Jing. Lin Jing immediately felt that something was not right. He didn't know what Liu Yiyuan was doing, but he knew he absolutely couldn't let him continue like this. Otherwise, it would definitely be extremely detrimental to him. He had to interrupt him. With that thought, Lin Jing took action. He directly controlled the flawless sword to thrust at Liu Yiyuan. However, Liu Yiyuan was clearly prepared for Lin Jing, and as Lin Jing commanded the flying sword, Liu Yiyuan spurred his spiritual power, making the white light around him shine even more brightly. To meet Lin Jing's forthcoming attack, this time, the flawless sword, empowered by the Lingyin Yu Jianju, only caused a slight ripple in the white light shield. Liu Yiyuan inside was not affected at all. Seeing this, Liu Yiyuan's smile grew even broader, looking at Lin Jing as if he were looking at a dead man. At that moment, the color of the black patterns on the gourd changed again, turning into a blood-red color. Upon seeing this change, Liu Yiyuan no longer paid any attention to Lin Jing. He quickly sat down cross-legged on the ground, controlled the gourd to float in front of him, and his lips seemed to be muttering some sort of incantation. As Liu Yiyuan chanted the incantation, the stopper on top of the gourd opened by itself. Some black mist began to slowly drift out from within the gourd. In the instant this black mist emerged, Lin Jing immediately felt an incredibly strong and evil presence emanating from it. This aura was astonishingly powerful. Lin Jing feared that the aura emitted by this black mist had far surpassed that of a golden core cultivator. Clearly, the behaviors of Liu Yiyuan up to this point were to summon this black mist to confront him. Lin Jing naturally could not sit by and await his demise. Immediately thereafter, without any hesitation, he drew a third-tier talisman, the Extinguishing True Heaven Thunder Talisman, from his storage bag. The moment Lin Jing took out the Extinguishing True Heaven Thunder Talisman, Liu Yiyuan, who was in the midst of chanting, paused. Then, with a look of fear, he stared at the talisman in Lin Jing's hand. Clearly, he recognized this third-tier talisman. With a look of disbelief on his face, Liu Yiyuan asked Lin Jing, "A third-tier talisman? How do you have one?" Lin Jing, however, did not answer and simply flicked his wrist, sending the Extinguishing True Heaven Thunder Talisman flying towards Liu Yiyuan. Explode! Following Lin Jing's fierce shout, the talisman burned up rapidly. Thereafter, a thick purple lightning bolt, as thick as a bucket, struck straight down at Liu Yiyuan. In the instant that the lightning bolt struck, the white light shield that had been protecting Liu Yiyuan dimmed substantially. At the same time, Lin Jing heard a slight crackling sound, as if something had shattered. This extinguishing true Heaven Thunder Talisman was far more powerful than the 5 Thunder Talisman. Even Liu Yiyuan, who had been protected by the white light shield, was injured by it, causing him to spit out another mouthful of fresh blood. After that, Liu Yiyuan's entire being suddenly wilted. He then reached in his chest and pulled out a white jade pearl covered with dense cracks. This pearl, undoubtedly, was the magical treasure that had been protecting Liu Yiyuan all this time. Seeing the heavy cracking on the pearl, Liu Yiyuan's face couldn't help but reveal a look of distress. He then raised his head, looked at Lin Jing with rage. "Today you must die to satisfy the hatred in my heart." Having said that, Liu Yiyuan, regardless of the consequences, took the flying sword, cut open his wrist, and, using his spiritual power, rapidly forced his blood out, flying towards the gourd. He attempted to hasten the emergence of the dark mist. It was at that moment the lightning conjured by the extinguishing true Heaven Thunder Talisman struck down again. The purple lightning, as if controlled by someone, struck directly towards Liu Yiyuan. A thunderous boom resounded, engulfing Liu Yiyuan in its radiant light. Moments later, the lightning dissipated. Liu Yiyuan lay weakened on the ground, his white light shield gone. Next to him, the white jade pearl had shattered into several pieces and lay discarded on the ground. Under the assault of the extinguishing true Heaven Thunder Talisman, this magical treasure of a pearl had withstood 2 strikes of heavenly lightning before finally shattering. By then, it had fulfilled its purpose. Liu Yiyuan, looking at the shattered white jade pearl, felt immense heartache. This magical treasure, gifted to him by his ancestor, was incredibly precious, and he had not expected it to be destroyed here. However, there was no time for him to dwell on it anymore, as the lightning was already gathering above him, preparing to strike once more. At this moment, he was devoid of any defenses. If the lightning were to strike again, he would certainly die. Despair filled Liu Yiyuan's heart. Just then, an extremely aged voice suddenly appeared. Both Lin Jing and Liu Yiyuan heard it at the same time. "What a wonderful essence! Who has summoned me here?" Upon hearing the voice, both men reacted differently. Liu Yiyuan's face first registered shock, then barely concealed delight, whereas Lin Jing furrowed his brows. He looked ahead, above the gourd, where there appeared an aged face made of dark mist. This was the entity Liu Yiyuan had hoped to summon to oppose him. Clearly, Liu Yiyuan had succeeded. As the voice of the dark mist faded, the lightning formed by the extinguishing true Heaven Thunder Talisman struck again. The dark mist, in the form of a face, looked upwards. It then dispersed into a massive hand, absorbing the entire force of the lightning. After blocking the lightning, the dark mist reshaped into the same aged face as before. Extinguishing true Heaven Thunder Talisman. Weak, just too weak. Seeing this, Lin Jing's expression darkened, his brows furrowed even more deeply. The dark mist was terrifyingly powerful, and it seemed it would be very difficult to deal with. After the dark mist finished speaking, it looked down at Liu Yiyuan below. "Was it you who summoned me here?" "Yes, senior." Liu Yiyuan, struggling to stand up straight, bowed to the dark mist. "You want me to deal with that person across from me? That mere foundation establishment it?" As it spoke, the dark mist turned its head to look at Lin Jing, who was on guard the entire time. Then it sneered contemptuously. "A mere ant." While speaking, the lightning formed by the extinguishing true Heaven Thunder Talisman began to gather again. This was the nature of the extinguishing true Heaven Thunder Talisman. Due to the enormous power of the lightning it created, it took some time to gather the force of the thunder. Thus, it could not form a continuous barrage of lightning as the 5 Thunder Talisman could. The dark mist morphed again into an arm and reached out, directly swatting at the lightning about to fall. With just one strike, The lightning vanished in midair, even before it could descend. The dark mist was dreadfully powerful. Lin Jing, however, kept his gaze fixed on the dark mist. In the moment the dark mist dispersed the lightning, Lin Jing noticed there was a close connection between the dark mist and the gourd. With every movement of the dark mist, the crimson patterns atop the gourd emitted bursts of red light. Moreover, Lin Jing detected that with each attack from the dark mist, the gourd would momentarily absorb a massive amount of spiritual energy from the surroundings. It was as if the dark mist and the gourd were one and the same. Seeing the black fog so fierce, Liu Yiyuan was also reassured. Then he turned his head towards Lin Jing. "Please take action, Senior, to help rid me of him." The black fog did not even look at Lin Jing, but rather stared at Liu Yiyuan with hollow eyes. "Do you understand my rules?" "Understood." Liu Yiyuan nodded, and then said, "After this is over, I will offer 100 cultivators to you, Senior, for your enjoyment." After hearing this, the black fog burst into laughter. "Haha, good." Next, the black fog first dispersed, and when it reconvened, its face was turned towards Lin Jing. "A mere foundation establishment ant. I don't even deign to lift a hand." However, no sooner had the black fog's words fallen, Lin Jing only felt a powerful divine sense attack him in an instant, rushing towards his mind. Lin Jing's head immediately throbbed with pain, as if countless steel needles were piercing his brain. He endured the intense pain and looked at the gourd. At this moment, the red glow beneath the black fog of the gourd was even more brilliant, and the speed at which it absorbed spiritual energy had become even more astonishing. Unexpectedly, the black fog was so shameless. It had just set its scorn to act against me, and in the blink of an eye, it launched an attack on me. Lin Jing hadn't even had the chance to react before the divine sense attack had already struck. If it weren't for Lin Jing being in an enhanced state from ability right now, his sea of consciousness would have probably been shattered by the black fog's divine sense attack just now. The black fog, seeing that its attack had not immediately shattered Lin Jing's sea of consciousness, couldn't help but be puzzled. Such a powerful divine sense. At that moment, the lightning formed by the extinguishing true heaven thunder talisman had once again condensed. This extinguishing true heaven thunder talisman is really annoying. The black fog looked up at the sky. Afterward, it could be seen dispersing into a large hand that swatted at the lightning above. With the black fog shifting its target, Lin Jing felt a moment of relief. Seizing this opportunity, Lin Jing hastily took out a flying sword from his storage bag, one that hadn't been used in a long time. This flying sword, it was the one that had been tainted with the fallen spirit's aura before. Lin Jing had thought of this countermeasure upon observing the deep connection between the black fog and the gourd. The fallen spirit's aura could absorb spiritual power and could not be expelled. If he could get the gourd tainted with the fallen spirit's aura, the black fog would naturally be affected and its strength greatly diminished. Thereafter, Lin Jing picked up the flying sword and threw it directly at the gourd. Yes, threw. Now, this flying sword, due to the long absorption of the fallen spirit's aura, had a very weak control for Lin Jing. It was difficult to make it fly steadily over. Rather than trying to control it to fly, it was faster to just throw it. However, the black fog was obviously more formidable. The moment the flying sword reached the gourd, before even touching it, it was seized by a hand created by the black fog. At that moment, the black fog had already dispersed the lightning, and the energy of the extinguishing true heaven thunder talisman was by then completely exhausted. The black fog once again transformed into a mocking and aged face. Not bad, quite the detailed observation, hoping to destroy me by destroying the gourd. What a pity, it's just not very smart. The gap in strength between us can't be bridged with little tricks. At this moment, Lin Jing had no intention of exchanging more words with it. Explode. With Lin Jing's loud shout, the flying sword self-detonated. Following the self-explosion of the flying sword, Lin Jing was already prepared. If it had no effect, he would enter the system space directly. Right now, he had no other concern, as it was most important to save his own life. When the flying sword exploded, the black fog was stunned for a moment. Then it burst into laughter. Ha ha! Is this it? Is this your counterattack method? However, at that moment, its laughter abruptly stopped. One moment arrogant, the black fog suddenly wilted. Thereafter, the black fog grew thinner, and a look of terror appeared on the face. Impossible! What exactly did you do to me? The black fog only managed to utter that sentence before being sucked into the gourd. Immediately afterward, the stopper of the gourd automatically sealed itself again. The patterns on the gourd's body also slowly changed from blood red and eventually returned to their original black color. Upon seeing this scene, Liu Yiyuan was startled. He couldn't fathom how Lin Jing had managed to do all this. And when the gourd reverted to its original form, Lin Jing finally breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, with the black mist from the gourd gone, only Lin Jing and Liu Yiyuan were left. Only then did Liu Yiyuan realize the seriousness of the situation. He was so gravely injured at this point that he could barely move. And Lin Jing's combat strength had virtually no loss at all. Now, he was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Liu Yiyuan looked toward Lin Jing. Lin Jing was looking back at him, his eyes cold, showing no emotion. The thought of being killed by Lin Jing instantly filled Liu Yiyuan with fear. His eyes were filled with terror as he watched Lin Jing step closer. Shivering, he said, "Lin Daoyu, don't kill me. I can give you spirit stones, cultivation techniques, elixir medicines. I have everything. Whatever you want, I can give you, just please don't kill me." However, Lin Jing remained indifferent. He continued to walk towards him. He had to kill this Liu Yiyuan, who would never let him go otherwise. Seeing that Lin Jing had no reaction, Liu Yiyuan became even more frantic, propping himself up with his hands and retreating in horror. At the same time, he pleaded with Lin Jing. "Lin Jing, as long as you don't kill me, I'll do anything for you. Let me be your ox or your horse. Please, I'm begging you." His fear had reached its peak, and he was filled with regret for ever crossing this man. "Really, I can swear by my Dao heart. As long as you don't kill me, anything is fine. If you want cultivation techniques, I can give you our elders' 5 elements divine art. If you want spirit stones, my Liu clan has many magical treasures as well. And Huang Qingling. Yes, Huang Qingling. Huang Qingling can be yours too. I swear, I will never fight with you over her again." Under the influence of his desire to live, Liu Yiyuan could no longer care about anything else. However, Lin Jing found it all just noise. Afterward, he commanded the flawless sword and slashed directly at Liu Yiyuan. At that moment, Liu Yiyuan, frightened, closed his eyes and couldn't help but cry out, "Ancestor, save me." Suddenly, a bright light erupted, and from Liu Yiyuan's forehead, a small human figure shadow emerged. This shadow looked exactly like Wu Kai Immortal. The moment Lin Jing saw this shadow, his pupils constricted and a strong sense of alert rose within him, and he quickly retreated. Liu Yiyuan, seeing the shadow, was like a drowning man grasping a straw. "Ancestor, save my life." Then, he pointed at Lin Jing and said in panic, "Lin Jing wants to kill me. Ancestor, please help me kill him." However, the small figure shadow of Wu Kai Immortal seemed as if it did not see Liu Yiyuan at all, but instead spoke to Lin Jing. "Fellow Taoist, I do not know how my family's junior has offended you, but please, spare him. I am Wu Kai and will be indebted to you. Otherwise, no matter where you hide, I will pursue and kill you until death." It was then that Lin Jing recalled. This small figure shadow was the divine sense imprint of a golden core immortal, only appearing when the marked person was in utmost danger. Its purpose was to protect the family's junior. The divine sense imprint had no offensive power. It could only serve as a reminder. Moreover, the imprint had completely separated from the creator, leaving only a weak connection. Thus, the real Wu Kai Immortal couldn't see the current situation here. But if he were to kill Liu Yiyuan, he would certainly destroy the imprint, and then Wu Kai Immortal would surely know. But that would be after Liu Yiyuan was dead. By the time Wu Kai Immortal came here, he would have already fled and hidden. By then, no one would probably think that Liu Yiyuan was killed by a Qi refinement 8th layer cultivator like him. Furthermore, now that it had come to this, Liu Yiyuan must be killed. Therefore, a cold gleam flashed in Lin Jing's eyes as he stepped forward. Then he commanded the flawless sword again, slashing at Liu Yiyuan. Liu Yiyuan, seeing Lin Jing step forward, was about to beg for mercy again. Suddenly, he felt a chill at his neck, followed by the world spinning around him. Immediately following, Liu Yiyuan's head rolled to the ground. From then on, Liu Yiyuan was dead, and Lin Jing finally let out a sigh of relief. After killing Liu Yiyuan, the soul branding of Wu Kai Immortal seemed to sense something. His face filled with rage, he bellowed, "You dare to kill a disciple of my Liu clan? You cannot escape. When my true self arrives, I will grind your bones to dust and scatter them to the winds." Having said this, Wu Kai Immortal pointed at Lin Jing, and then let out a fierce shout. 10-day soul-chasing curse. No sooner had Wu Kai Immortal's voice faded than a blood-red light emerged from the brow of the now-deceased Liu Yiyuan, soaring straight towards Lin Jing's forehead. Lin Jing, sensing the danger, hurriedly tried to dodge. But the blood-red light was too fast, and just as Lin Jing began to move, it had already shot out and entered his forehead. Lin Jing's face turned pale with shock as he hurriedly circulated his cultivation technique to check, only to find a faint presence of slaughterous energy at his forehead. Upon detecting this slaughterous energy, Lin Jing hastily sat down cross-legged and began to run his cultivation technique, attempting to purge it. But that energy seemed to be non-existent, unresponsive to whatever Lin Jing did, refusing to dissipate. It was at this moment that the soul branding of Wu Kai Immortal spoke again. "Having been struck by my 10-day soul-chasing curse, no matter where you hide in these 10 days, I will be able to find you. Just wait for the arrival of my true self." After saying this last sentence, the soul branding used up the last bit of its soul spirit power and slowly faded away, eventually disappearing completely. In Nanshan Immortal City, within the Liu clan's inner courtyard, Wu Kai Immortal, who was originally meditating in his room, suddenly opened his eyes abruptly. His spiritual power became violent immediately, and his aura skyrocketed thought the roof. The furniture in the room, neatly arranged, was shattered into pieces by the violent spiritual power, and even the doors and windows were completely broken. This aura was startling, enveloping the entire Liu clan. For a moment, every member of the Liu clan, no matter what they were doing, stopped in their tracks. Frightened by the staggering aura, they dared not make a sound as they turned their heads in panic towards the direction of the patriarch. Unsure of what had gotten into the old patriarch today, why he was radiating such fury, and even the pedestrians and vendors on the streets nearby the Liu clan also felt this astonishing aura, crushed by its weight to the point where they could hardly breathe. After Wu Kai Immortal was awakened, he shot out of his room and came to stand in midair. Then, closing his eyes, he began to calculate with his fingers. Moments later, Wu Kai Immortal opened his eyes. His face contorted with greater fury, turning a fierce steel blue, his eyebrows inverted in a fierce glare directed towards the demon race secret realm. His entire body's anger rose even higher, engulfing the whole Liu clan. "Yiyuan, I will surely avenge you. Whoever you are, dare to kill a descendant of my Liu clan, I will dismember you and scatter your pieces to the winds." It was not until Wu Kai Immortal roared out these words that the members of the Liu clan understood what had transpired. Suddenly, a few cries of mourning arose from the Liu clan's inner courtyard, and at this moment, a figure hurriedly ran from the direction of the Liu clan's ancestral hall. Stumbling along the way, he came to the small courtyard where Wu Kai Immortal was. "Ancestor, a great calamity has befallen us." Because of the horrifying sight he had just witnessed, he was still not over the shock. Even his speech was stammering. Wu Kai Immortal looked down, his gaze falling on this man. This person was a clansman in charge of guarding the life tablets of the clan's core members in the ancestral hall. His presence meant that someone in the family had passed away, a life tablet shattered. Wu Kai Immortal descended from midair and approached the man, his face full of sorrow as he spoke. Yiyuan's life token has shattered. I already know. The Wu Kai Immortal wanted to say something else, but felt that everything else seemed tasteless. Then he said, "You may leave now." However, the person was unwilling to leave. At last, he suddenly fell to his knees with a plop. Upon seeing this, the Wu Kai Immortal's eyebrows furrowed as he looked towards this person. The man, frightened, shrank his neck and stuttered. To report to the ancestor. Not only young Master Yiyuan. There's also the clan leader, the clan leader's life token. It has also shattered. This person was talking about the clan leader, Yiyuan's father, who had just been promoted to Golden Core. After advancing to Golden Core, Liu Yiyuan's father soon took over as the head of the Liu clan, since he himself was a Golden Core immortal. Therefore, the Wu Kai Immortal did not perform the soul branding on him. After the person finished speaking, he kneeled down hurriedly, not daring to lift his head the entire time. The aura around the Wu Kai Immortal fluctuated unpredictably, waxing and waning. Suddenly, there was a sound. The Wu Kai Immortal couldn't bear it, and directly spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Afterwards, his aura surged rapidly. At last, it covered the majority of the inner city area. This act attracted the attention of other clans, as well as high-ranking cultivators from various sects, all of whom glanced in this direction. They didn't know what had happened. Then, a loud roar was heard, spreading throughout the entire Nanshan Immortal City. "Who is it that's opposing my Liu clan? Have the guts to come out. No matter which family you are from, once I find out, I will crush your whole clan to dust sooner or later." The roar was mighty and resonated far away. And let the other powers within Nanshan Immortal City understand the reason for Wu Kai Immortal's fury. At this moment, Lin Jing was still in the demon race secret realm, oblivious to the events occurring in Nanshan Immortal City. Currently, Lin Jing was observing the blood-evil qi at his brow. After the divine sense branding from Wu Kai Immortal disappeared, the blood-evil qi at Lin Jing's brow seemed even more vigorous. However, this blood-evil qi was only present at Lin Jing's brow and had no other impact on him. According to what the soul branding from Wu Kai Immortal had just said, the 10-day soul-chasing curse seemed to be a method of tracking rather than a threat. Now that Liu Yiyuan had been slain by him, Lin Jing needed to leave this place as soon as possible. Otherwise, once Wu Kai Immortal arrived, he feared he would not be able to leave. Following this, Lin Jing looked down at the body of Liu Yiyuan. Even in death, Liu Yiyuan's eyes remained wide open, with a face full of disbelief. Lin Jing surveyed Liu Yiyuan's corpse for a moment. Then he reached out and called, and Liu Yiyuan's storage bag flew straight into his hand. Next, Lin Jing channeled his spiritual power, activating the divine fire triple realm, and a white flame appeared instantly in his hand. The moment the flame appeared, the temperature around it significantly increased. Lin Jing caught a glimpse of the gourd lying on the ground. The black fog in the gourd was too strange, and Lin Jing initially didn't want to touch it. But since he and Liu Yiyuan had fought, he was already seen by this black fog. Perhaps Wu Kai Immortal had some way of receiving information from it. So, now, even if Lin Jing wanted to leave it behind, he couldn't. Afterwards, Lin Jing reached out and grabbed the gourd in his hand. It was at this moment that an extremely resentful voice came through the gourd, directly into Lin Jing's mind. "Mystical powers of the fallen spirit, you insignificant ant actually possess such energy? Even if you can use the fallen spirit's energy to seal the gourd, what then? I will soon break free from this gourd, and when that time comes, I will make sure you suffer agonizingly until death." Lin Jing did not respond to the words of the black mist inside the gourd, as if he had not heard them at all, and directly threw it into his storage bag. Nonetheless, the black mist was extremely powerful, and despite being inside the storage bag, it still managed to send its words into Lin Jing's mind, becoming a persistent nuisance. Lin Jing, however, remained unconcerned. He directly threw the white flame in his hands toward Liu Yiyuan's corpse. The moment Liu Yiyuan's corpse came into contact with the flame, it began to burn fiercely. In less than half an hour, under the blaze of that flame, Liu Yiyuan was reduced entirely to ash. It was at that instant that a gust of wind blew. The ash scattered with the wind, disappearing without a trace. And here, all that was left were the traces of the battle that had occurred between the two men. Afterwards, Lin Jing quickly cleared any signs he had left behind. He also carefully collected the fragments resulting from his self-destructing flying sword. He did so in fear of the Wukai immortal being able to track him down through these tiny clues. Finally, when there was nothing left to overlook, Lin Jing made his hasty departure. During this period, the black mist inside the gourd kept on clamoring incessantly, both threatening and intimidating Lin Jing. It even boasted that with Lin Jing's level of cultivation, he couldn't possibly affect it. In response to this, Lin Jing merely gave a cold smile. He clearly remembered that within the system space, no living being other than himself was allowed entry. If any other being entered, they would be directly annihilated. So if he were to bring this gourd into the system space, the fate of that black mist. With this thought, Lin Jing was no longer worried. After dealing with all this, Lin Jing began to rapidly flee the place. The area was far too close to where Liu Yiyuan had died, making it unsuitable to enter the system space directly. Thus, Lin Jing needed to first distance himself from the area. According to Lin Jing's plan, he would first move away from the area and then hide in the system space. After entering the system space, he would figure out a way to resolve the 10-day soul-chasing curse. Lin Jing didn't believe that if he hid in the system space, the Wukai immortal could still trace him. Subsequently, Lin Jing discerned the directions and then made his way into the forest of dead trees ahead of the stone forest. The forest of dead trees was desolate. As far as the eye could see, all was withered branches and fallen leaves. Even the ground was covered with a thick layer. Furthermore, the forest was eerily silent, devoid of any human figures, and not even birds or beasts could be found. Seeing the fallen leaves on the ground made Lin Jing frown. Then he summoned the flawless sword and stepped on it. Then, he flew low through the forest of dead trees. As he continued to fly through the forest, Lin Jing felt the suppression on his divine sense gradually easing. After flying some more distance, at that moment, Lin Jing sensed his divine sense had returned to normal. Additionally, the signs of birds and beasts began to appear nearby, and it was no longer as desolate as before. Looking ahead, Lin Jing could see a hint of green in the distance. It seems I have left that particular area, Lin Jing thought to himself. Then, he put away his flawless sword and began to move on foot. Along the way, the black mist kept on ranting without pause. Yet Lin Jing paid no heed to it. Until just recently, when he saw that Lin Jing remained indifferent, he began to tempt Lin Jing. You can't escape from the 10-day soul-chasing curse. No matter where you are, the caster will find you, unless you're no longer in this world. Or if you survive these 10 days, as the name implies, the curse will dissipate after 10 days. As long as you help me sacrifice cultivators and become my servant, I will spare you. And additionally, I will even help you lift the 10-day soul-chasing curse and impart to you peerless cultivation techniques. As long as you serve me well, unparalleled cultivation techniques, enchanting beauties, and treasures of heaven and earth, whatever you desire, I can grant you. The words of the black fog had just given Lin Jing a shock. The 10-day soul-chasing curse would dissolve on its own after just 10 days. Are you sure the 10-day soul-chasing curse will dissolve on its own after 10 days? Lin Jing asked the black fog through his divine sense. This was his first time speaking to the black fog. The black fog fell silent for a moment, then haughtily declared, "Of course, the 10-day soul-chasing curse is merely a minor spell. As long as you do as I say and let me out, I'll be able to eradicate it with a flick of my finger. Or, without even eradicating it, I could even help you wipe out the golden core cultivator who cast the spell. How about that? Lin Jing knew all too well what game the Black Fog was playing. At this moment, Lin Jing once again ignored it. Seeing Lin Jing's lack of response, the Black Fog immediately became furious with embarrassment. Otherwise, after I get out, the first thing I'll do is extract your soul and refine your marrow, leaving you to perish soul destroyed. After all, you're powerless against me. Suddenly, Lin Jing stopped and replied, "That may not be the case." By then, Lin Jing had already reached the depths of the dense forest. And this place was conveniently far enough away from where Liu Yiyuan had been slain. Hearing Lin Jing's words, the Black Fog burst out laughing. "Ha! You think you can kill me? That's a joke. Do you know who I am? Do you know how powerful I once was? If it weren't for this accursed gourd, would I be wasting words with you?" After speaking, the Black Fog snorted coldly again. "Umph. Even if it is the energy of a fallen spirit, it won't be long before I force it out. Then, your end will come." Lin Jing couldn't care less about responding to the Black Fog's words. Instead, he silently commanded in his mind, "Enter system space." Afterward, the scene before Lin Jing's eyes changed, and he appeared inside the system space. Upon entering the system space, the Black Fog was first taken aback, then became ecstatic. "This is a small world. Ha! I didn't expect you, a mere ant, to possess a small world. Once I recover, I'll take possession of you after I recover, and this small world will be mine. Mine, all mine. Ha ha!" The Black Fog's laughter was extremely frenzied. Immediately following, Lin Jing took out the gourd from his storage bag. Just then, suddenly, a series of system alarms sounded. "Warning! A special spiritual body has entered the system space. Commence annihilation immediately." However, before it could revel for too long, it heard the system's warning. The pleased Black Fog suddenly paused. System space. What is this thing? Then it felt an extreme sense of terror engulfing it. What? What is this? No, impossible. Ah! Following a final scream, everything quieted down. After the scream had ceased, Lin Jing looked at the gourd. He noticed the gourd slowly changing. Its black patterns were disappearing gradually, until at last, the entire gourd became a lush green color, lacking the sinister and terrifying aura of before. Instead, it exuded a sense of tranquility and peace. Lin Jing held the gourd in his hand, carefully examining it. What exactly this gourd was, the Black Fog never mentioned. However, to be on the safe side, Lin Jing decided to keep it inside the system space for the time being and not to disturb it. After resolving the issue with the black mist, Lin Jing finally felt at ease. Despite this, the bloodthirsty aura on his forehead was still present. But upon hearing from the black mist that the 10-day soul-chasing curse could only last for 10 days and would dissipate automatically after that, Lin Jing was able to put his mind at ease. Had it been for a longer period, it might have been problematic. But 10 days made it much simpler. Lin Jing could easily stay within the system space for 10 days. 10 days. To the system space, that was a trivial matter. Coupled with the flow of time speed in the system space, only 2.5 days were needed for the bloodthirsty aura to dissipate automatically. By then, it should be no problem for Lin Jing to leave again. Subsequently, Lin Jing went to the spirit field. Previously, he had already obtained the cleansing spirit liquid and initiated the simulation of the environment needed for its production. However, given the urgency at the time, Lin Jing feared any mishaps. Thus, after obtaining the cleansing spirit liquid, he promptly exited the system space, having had no time to simulate the necessary environment for the liquid's creation. Now that he was free, it was the perfect time to simulate the environment needed for producing the cleansing spirit liquid. Upon arriving at the spirit field, Lin Jing spoke up, summoning the system. "System, activate the environment simulation function." As Lin Jing's voice fell, a screen appeared in front of him. This screen displayed various environmental simulations, including the ones he had used before, uninhabited mountains and the demon race secret realm. Lin Jing stretched out his hand, touching the system panel. Then he swiped. He saw more diverse environmental simulations. At the back, there it was, the environment for generating the cleansing spirit liquid. Lin Jing tapped it. Immediately after, a system notification came through. Ding. System notification. Cleansing spirit liquid environment simulation must be conducted in the spirit field. Please select a spirit field. As the system concluded, the screen in front of him began to change. Shortly after, the screen for selecting a spirit field appeared. Lin Jing then reached out again, choosing the third spirit field next to the demon race secret realm for the simulation. With Lin Jing's selection made, the second-ranked spirit plants planted in that third spirit field were harvested prematurely, vacating the field. Since they were harvested early, these plants were not mature. Thus, there were no harvest points. Nevertheless, Lin Jing wasn't troubled by this. The harvest points offered by second-ranked spirit plants were too minimal. He only needed to refine 2 flawless elixirs to compensate for the loss. After the harvest of these spirit plants was complete, immediately following, a system notification came through again. System notification. The simulation of the cleansing spirit liquid environment has begun. Simulation duration, 10 minutes. As the system notification ended, the soil in the third spirit field began to change. The initially yellow soil visibly turned grayish-white at a rate visible to the naked eye. Gradually, the grayish-white soil hardened into rock. It was from this point that Lin Jing noticed that the ambience in the third spirit field was beginning to change. This ambience was very similar to the distinctive ambience he felt in the land of cleansing spirit. As time trickled by, the 10 minutes passed quickly. The system notification came once again. Ding. System notification. Environment simulation has been completed. Lin Jing looked at the third spirit field again. At this moment, the exterior of the third spirit field was made of grayish-white rock, within which a cave stretching several dozens of meters had formed. And a cleansing spirit liquid. It should be produced inside this cave. Lin Jing then walked into the cave. Upon entering, the first thing he noticed was a basin-sized stone trough. Above the stone trough, stalactites hung from the ceiling. The tips of the stones were moist, suggesting that the cleansing spirit liquid was collected here. The environmental conditions for the production of cleansing spirit liquid were evident. Next, Lin Jing needed to see how fast the cleansing spirit liquid was formed. Therefore, he opened the system panel again. The panel in front of him displayed Special Spiritual Object, Cleansing Spirit Liquid, 1 drop produced annually. 1 drop per year, this speed is indeed not fast. Lin Jing pondered silently. However, the spirit field has a spiritual plan acceleration function. I wonder if it could work on this cleansing spirit liquid. Thinking this, Lin Jing immediately spoke. System, activate the spiritual plant acceleration function. As Lin Jing's words fell, a panel appeared directly in front of him. The panel indicated Special Spiritual Object, Cleansing Spirit Liquid. Acceleration cost, 10 harvest points per year accelerated. Acceleration multiplier, 10,000 times. This meant that, with 10 harvest points, one could obtain a drop of cleansing spirit liquid. Speaking of which, it was actually quite a good deal. After doing all this, Lin Jing immediately used the acceleration feature and obtained a drop of cleansing spirit liquid. Afterward, Lin Jing, without hesitation, swallowed the drop of cleansing spirit liquid. It was the familiar sensation, exactly the same as the drop Lin Jing had previously acquired. Even since this drop of cleansing spirit liquid was complete, its effect was even better than the previous one. After swallowing the cleansing spirit liquid, fearing to waste it, Lin Jing directly sat cross-legged inside the cave and began to meditate and refine it. 10 days had passed, which could be considered quick. At least, that was what Lin Jing felt. That day, Lin Jing was meditating in the alchemy room. He felt that the originally weak blood, evil energy at his brow could not hold on any longer and dissipated completely. Lin Jing immediately stopped meditating and opened his eyes. A smile involuntarily appeared on his lips. The 10-day soul-chasing curse had finally been lifted. In the 10 days within the system space, only 2.5 days had actually passed in the outside world. During this period, Lin Jing occasionally activated observation mode to check the outside situation. During this time, Lin Jing even saw the Wu Kai immortal. The Wu Kai immortal looked in a very bad state. It was understandable. Liu Yiyuan was his most cherished junior, and now he had died within this secret realm. How could he not be heartbroken? In these 2 days, the Wu Kai immortal, along with other members of the Liu clan, appeared around this area several times. Aside from Wu Kai immortal and other Liu clan members, Lin Jing, however, did not see Liu Yiyuan's father. This made Lin Jing feel somewhat surprised. As far as Lin Jing knew, Liu Yiyuan's father was very caring towards him, and now that Liu Yiyuan had died, he should have been the most likely person to appear here. It seemed Liu Yiyuan's father must have been delayed by something and was unaware of his death. Lin Jing thought to himself. In fact, Liu Yiyuan's father had already met his demise, which is why he could not come here. However, Lin Jing was not aware of this fact. Regarding the Liu clan people constantly appearing nearby, Lin Jing speculated. Either the Wu Kai immortal used some special method to trace some information, or it could have been due to the 10-day soul-chasing curse. That is why they were so persistent. Having guessed these points, Lin Jing was exceedingly relieved. If not for the system space, he feared he would never have been able to escape. The 10-day soul-chasing curse had already dissipated. Next, Lin Jing needed to figure out a way to leave. However, even if Lin Jing wanted to leave now, he couldn't do it from here. This place had already attracted the attention of the Wu Kai immortal, so Lin Jing still needed to use the fixed-point teleportation function to leave this area first. Over this period, Lin Jing had also carefully observed. The frequency of the Liu clan's people appearing here was not very often. Most of the time, they were just passing through. Lin Jing once saw them flying towards the direction of the stone forest while in observation mode. Presumably, the place where Lin Jing had killed Liu Yiyuan had already been discovered by them. Most of them were conducting searches there. Next, Lin Jing first activated observation mode to check out the surroundings, especially the area near where he was about to use fixed-point teleportation. After some observation, Lin Jing found that it was very quiet there, with not a single person around. Only then did Lin Jing feel at ease. After completing his observation, Lin Jing spoke directly. System, activate fixed-point teleportation. As the words fell, Lin Jing's view began to rise. Immediately after, Lin Jing chose a good place and began to teleport. Then, Lin Jing's view blurred, and a tearing force transmitted to his body. A moment later, the tearing force disappeared. The scene before his eyes also became clear. By now, Lin Jing had already arrived at the point he had selected earlier. After coming out, Lin Jing didn't dare to linger too long and quickly left the place. This entire Demon Ray secret realm was really too vast. After Lin Jing emerged, he walked for half a day and hadn't come across a single soul. Furthermore, because he hadn't been here before, Lin Jing himself did not know where he was. He was lost. He had no choice but to follow the direction from which the Liu clan's people had flown and advance in that direction, because that place was most likely where the market of the purifying spirit land was located. Just like that, Lin Jing continued to move in that direction. Until the next day, he still hadn't seen the market. The previous half day, combined with this night, Lin Jing had unleashed his cultivation and hurried along the way. His speed was not slow, although there were demonic beasts that wanted to attack him along the way. But Lin Jing was always swift in disposing of them, without wasting too much time. Altogether, he had traveled at least hundreds of miles. Following that, Lin Jing continued forward. Before long, Lin Jing finally encountered someone else. Moreover, this person was flying on a sword. Anyone who dared to fly on a sword in this place certainly had strong cultivation, probably at least at the Golden Core stage. It wasn't until the person got a bit closer that Lin Jing noticed the aura emanating from the person. It was indeed undeniably a golden core. However, at the same moment Lin Jing noticed him, the person seemed to have spotted Lin Jing too, and immediately changed direction, flying towards him. Seeing this, Lin Jing couldn't help frowning. It wasn't surprising that a golden core cultivator could detect him, but why he would fly over to him was puzzling. Lin Jing then looked up to the sky. Not until the person got closer did Lin Jing realize this golden core cultivator, he actually knew him. This person was the same servant he had encountered when he had visited Liu Yiyuan last time. The fifth master, Zhang Wu. Seeing this person, Lin Jing could finally put his mind at ease. Soon, Zhang Wu arrived above Lin Jing. Lin Jing hurriedly clasped his fists in greeting. Junior Lin Jing pays his respects to the elder. Zhang Wu looked at Lin Jing and asked, "It's you, how come you're here?" After speaking, he sized up Lin Jing. "Not injured, that's good. Young Master Yuan and the others have all been looking for you." Lin Jing gave a wry smile before replying. To reply to the elder, previously at the site of spirit cleansing, an accident occurred, and I was teleported quite a distance away. After traveling day and night, I finally made it here. Zhang Wu nodded and said, "I'm aware of the accident at the spirit cleansing site. Many died. Young Master Yuan and others were lucky to have escaped early on. Initially, we thought that you might have met with an accident inside, and they were quite distressed for a while. Not until later, when disciples from the Qingyuan sword sect informed them that you were safe and had been teleported out, did they finally feel relieved. Right now, they're trying to figure out ways to look for you everywhere." After hearing this, Lin Jing was quite moved and quickly said, "I have caused everyone concern." Zhang Wu continued speaking, "As long as you're all right, that's what matters. Since we've coincidentally met, let's go. I'll take you back to Fong Market." Lin Jing then clasped his hands toward Zhang Wu and said, "Thank you, elder." Zhang Wu waved his hand and said, "No need." Afterwards, Lin Jing followed Zhang Wu, flying toward Fong Market on their swords. On this journey, Lin Jing stayed close behind Zhang Wu. Since they were not well acquainted, Lin Jing simply focused on the journey and did not talk much. Zhang Wu naturally wasn't going to start a conversation either. Like this, for hours passed. Lin Jing finally saw the towering peaks piercing the clouds once more. Once those peaks are in sight, Fong Market isn't far away. It was at that moment when the unexpected happened. A person, riding on a sword, flew rapidly towards Fong Market from behind them. The aura emanating from him was overbearing and also agitated. The moment the two sensed this aura, they quickly turned to look back. Only when the person drew close did Lin Jing realize. The person flying towards them was none other than Wu Kai Immortal. Wu Kai Immortal looked extremely haggard at that time, but the fury in his eyes was clearly visible. It seemed he had encountered some urgent matter and wanted to rush back to Fong Market. At that time, Wu Kai Immortal also noticed Zhang Wu and Lin Jing. He first looked at Zhang Wu, who had the higher cultivation, yet after only a glance, he paid him no further attention. Next, he turned his gaze towards the comparatively weaker Lin Jing. Upon seeing Lin Jing, a cold light flashed in Wu Kai Immortal's eyes. He then swung his hand, sending a palm strike towards Lin Jing. This sudden turn of events startled Zhang Wu, who hurriedly moved in front of Lin Jing, blocking the attack for him. And Lin Jing was shocked by this sudden attack as well. He never imagined that Wu Kai Immortal, disregarding his own status, would suddenly launch an attack on him. Straight away, Zhang Wu slapped his storage bag, and a shield-shaped magical treasure appeared in front of him. Wu Kai Immortal's palm strike landed, and Zhang Wu raised a shield to block it. Boom came a loud noise. Wu Kai Immortal's palm strike was entirely blocked by Zhang Wu's shield. Zhang Wu was also pushed back a few steps under the force of the palm. This demonstrated the power of the palm strike was not something Lin Jing, a Qi refinement 8th layer small cultivator, could handle. It seemed Wu Kai Immortal intended to kill Lin Jing with one palm strike right there. After the palm strike, Zhang Wu stared angrily at Wu Kai Immortal. "Wu Kai, what do you intend to do?" Wu Kai Immortal's eyes were fierce as he stared at Lin Jing, talking to Zhang Wu. "Zhang Wu, step aside. This has nothing to do with you." You must have heard that when this boy was at the spirit cleansing site, he caused trouble for my disciple Yiyuan, obstructing him in many ways. Since he didn't die, I'd like to conduct a soul search on him to see whether Yiyuan's death has anything to do with him. Upon hearing the words of the Wu Kai immortal, a shock immediately went through Lin Jing's heart. He had not expected the Wu Kai immortal to be so overbearing. Without a second word, he went straight for a soul search on him. The soul searching technique. It is an extremely malevolent cultivation technique. It can forcibly search through a cultivator's memory, but it is only effective on those whose cultivation is lower than one's own. Memory is naturally the most private and important aspect of a person and cannot be casually searched by others. If only that were all, the most crucial issue is that this technique is difficult to control. If the practitioner is not careful, they could damage the other's sea of consciousness, causing them to become stupid and demented for the rest of their life. Even more serious, turning into a vegetative state is also not impossible. Therefore, the soul-searching technique is generally used against enemies and isn't lightly employed. Upon hearing this, Zhang Wu's brow also furrowed, and then he spoke directly. It's absolutely impossible. The person from your Liu clan who was killed had your 10-day soul-chasing curse on him, and it definitely wasn't this Lin Jing. You couldn't possibly be unaware of that. Besides, Lin Jing is only at the 8th level of Qi refinement. How could he possibly be an opponent for your clan's younger generation? After listening, the Wu Kai immortal's expression darkened as he looked at Lin Jing. Yiyuan had a conflict with him just now at the spirit cleansing grounds. Who knew that right after he was transmitted from the spirit cleansing grounds, he would be killed? How do you explain this? Even if this person isn't the murderer, he is still a major suspect. Having spoken, the Wu Kai immortal stared intently at Zhang Wu, with obvious killing intent in his eyes, while saying coldly, "Today, I am determined to soul search him. Zhang Wu, are you intending to stop me?" It looked as though the Wu Kai immortal didn't put Zhang Wu in his eyes at all and was determined to proceed with the soul search on Lin Jing. At this point, Zhang Wu's expression also darkened. "Wu Kai, aren't you being too tyrannical? This man is on good terms with our young master. No matter what, I cannot allow you to lay a hand on him in my presence." Zhang Wu's attitude was extremely resolute, standing in front of Lin Jing. Seeing that Zhang Wu gave no ground, the Wu Kai immortal's aura suddenly surged, looking as though he would strike at any moment. Lin Jing's brows also deeply furrowed. The Wu Kai immortal was so unreasonable, not caring about his identity as a golden core immortal and insisting on making a move against him, something Lin Jing could never have anticipated. In this situation, even if he wanted to enter the system space, it seemed highly unlikely. Fortunately, they were not too far from the entrance to the spirit cleansing grounds at Fong Market. Should a fight break out, Lin Jing would have no option but to do his best to help Zhang Wu hold off the Wu Kai immortal, waiting for someone from the Fong Market to arrive. With this in mind, Lin Jing had already reached for his storage bag. As soon as the Wu Kai immortal made a move, Lin Jing would pull out the Liu Yiyuan sword that the Zhang family patriarch had given him. Elder Yu had once told him that the Liu Yiyuan sword could even pose a threat to a golden core cultivator. By then, even just holding in his hands would be a threat to the Wu Kai immortal, causing the latter to fear damaging the valuable object and not dare to exert his full strength. Sometimes, a trump card effectiveness doesn't always require it to be played. Just at this critical moment, an old voice came from behind Lin Jing. "Wu Kai Daoist friend, long time no see. Hope all has been well with you." Everyone turned their heads to look, only to see a figure flying in from the direction of the Fong Market. This person, Lin Jing had also seen before. It was none other than the Zhang family patriarch, Zhang Qinfan. Upon Zhang Qinfan's arrival, the expression on the Wu Kai immortal's face grew even gloomier. "Zhang Qinfan, what are you doing here? If you intend to make a move against Zhang Wu, of course, I'd come." No sooner had the Zhang family patriarch's words fallen than he was already near the group. Zhang Wu and Lin Jing both turned around and saluted Zhang Qinfan with clasped fists. "Patriarch, immortal Qinfan, Zhang Chunfan nodded to both, then turned to Zhang Wu and asked, "Little Wu, what's going on here?" Zhang Wu saluted and said to the Zhang family patriarch. Reporting to the patriarch, "It's like this." Zhang Wu recounted the recent events to the Zhang family patriarch. After listening, the Zhang family patriarch nodded and then turned to the Wu Kai immortal, saying, "Wu Kai, you are a well-known senior with a long-standing reputation. You must be quite clear that this matter is not something Lin Jing could have done. Why make things difficult for a junior?" After speaking, the Zhang family patriarch glanced at Lin Jing, then continued. "Lin Jing is often seen in close proximity to the young lady from the Bai family and has some misunderstandings with your family's younger generation. This is no secret. Many people are aware of this matter. Are you perhaps taking this out on him because of this affair?" After hearing this, the Wu Kai immortal's face turned even uglier. "Zhang Chunfan, it is not your place to lecture me on what I should do." After speaking, the Wu Kai immortal directly pointed at the Zhang family patriarch and continued, "And you, always at odds with our Liu clan. I've long found you displeasing. How about it? Are you willing to have a bout with me?" At this moment, the Wu Kai immortal's animosity wasn't just directed at Lin Jing anymore. Ever since the deaths of Liu Yiyuan and his son, he had been suppressing the rage in his heart. Now, seeing the Zhang family patriarch, with whom he had always been at odds, a nameless anger arose within him. Despite being confronted in such a manner, the Zhang family patriarch wasn't angry, but shook his head in resignation and said, "Sai, there have been too many misfortunes in your Liu clan recently. I assume you've been suppressing your anger all this while. Since you want to fight, I could keep you company. It could be good for you to vent out your anger." These words, coming from the Zhang family patriarch, sounded to the Wu Kai immortal like mockery. His eyes narrowed slightly as he glanced at the Zhang family patriarch, and then suddenly burst into laughter. "Ha ha! Zhang Chunfan, you hypocrite!